Here we have a new 2025 Toyota Tacoma. This one comes in the TRD off-road trim level in ice cap. And then we have black and gray fabric interior. For the powertrain, we get a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. That's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So not too many changes as opposed to the 24 model year. As we come around to the front end here, we still get our LED headlamps, and this one does have LED fog lights. Nice front fascia there. Still looks like the older Tacomas while still looking brand new. And then down here, these are gonna be 17-inch alloy wheels. We get one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors, rear window lock, power door lock controls, power mirrors. We have blind spot monitors in the side mirrors. Traction control, auto high beams. Hood release is there. We get a manual tilt, telescoping steering wheel. And then here's our 6-way manual driver's seat, but we do get 2-way power lumbar support. Now, I do want to give a huge thanks to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Tacoma today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you're looking to find the best price on something closer to your house, click on that second link down below. It takes a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Have a little storage underneath the second row. Now, I could get back there, but it would be a tight squeeze. I probably couldn't get out. I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so that's why there's not as much space back here. But rear seat pocket there, and there's a view of the front from back here. I do like that we have these little hanger hooks there if you want to hang your uniform and kind of have it slide off the back seat there. Nice to have. Gas cap there. Now, as we come to the back end, ever since the redesign, I really like the new tail lights being LED. Like the exhaust. There's a spare tire. And then there was a recent snowstorm, so this one has a ton of snow in the bed, but at least you know it's capable. Now, as we come around to the front passenger seat, that's also going to be 6-way manual, which is a nice touch, being able to pump the seat up or down in a pickup truck. USB-C port there, storage pocket there, lockable glove compartment here with owner's manuals. So it's actually a pretty good size. Now we'll take a quick look at the window sticker. Y'all can pause anywhere you need to take a closer look at anything. But you see, with the TRD off-road, most of the stuff you're paying for is going to be under that mechanical and performance. Just everything that's included there with the 4-wheel drive system and all of that. But sticker price, $45,429. Again, I've kind of fooled with the truck a little bit before I started the review, and all the stuff that kind of stems around the 4-wheel drive system and the capability of this being an off-road truck is really what makes this worth that money, in my opinion. But there's a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. And now let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So nice leather wrap steering wheel here. Like the horn sound as well. To the infotainment system, we have the navigation subscription available if you want to hook that up. For the audio, you get AM, FM, XM. You also get Bluetooth, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and then your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. And then you can go in here, your general settings, full with your language and units, or your date and time if you want to do that. There's the backup camera guidelines, follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And with Toyota's system, I've said this before, it's interesting how simple it is. It has everything you need, but it's not overwhelming, and it literally takes 5 seconds to walk through all the functionality of it. Down here, you do get single zone automatic climate control, so we can toggle the auto there. And then we can adjust the fan speed here, cut the whole system off with that button. And then you have your defrosters, your mirrors, and all of that there. 3-stage heated seats. Hazards are right there. Now you get 2 USB-C ports here, which will charge up to 45 watts, which is pretty good. and then a 12 volt here. And if you're a shifter, just hit the brake, grab the lever, reverse, neutral, drive. Come over here and you can use your sports shifts if you want. Electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down and disengage, automatic brake hold here. And then your four-wheel drive system's here. So once you get into the four-wheel drive system, you're able to use your crawl mode, your MTS. You have so many different terrain settings with the MTS, your sand, Baja, things of that nature. But in the two-wheel, mostly you just use this knob for the drive mode. So you get eco, normal, sport there. And then actually put in four-wheel drive, you just click this here, hit the brake, and then you can go there, and then the low there. So you got to put that in neutral to get into that low mode. But you have a rear differential lock here. Bottle holders are here. Center console cubby space. And it's a decent size, I think. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Sunglasses holder. And then there's the vanity mirror. Go back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are here. High beams, fog lights. Now, where I put it to show the four-wheel high, we'll have to gotta put it in neutral and put it in drive and go through that whole setup once again. So that's why it's flashing like that. And then your intermittent wipers are here. One time off, intermittent low, high. You can adjust that intermittent frequency right in there. Now to the left side of the steering wheel, Bluetooth button, volume, voice recognition, and then you can use the scroll bar and these two arrows to go through the digital gauge cluster here. So change your settings. I like being able to, if you want to hold here, you can change what's shown over here, which is pretty neat. Kind of make it to your liking. So I like that. And then you can go in here in your settings and change whatever you want to. You got to hold, and then you can go in here and actually fool with it. But then to the right side of the steering wheel, you do get that safety sense. So lane centering, adaptive cruise, change your modes here, set the speed, cancel. You can change your audio sources here, or go through your radio station favorites or track lists right here. Push button starts here. You do get a nice little storage pocket in here if you wanted to put the key fob or something like that. But there's just so much other storage, I would just probably have it here or something like that. And finally, there's the fob itself. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Tacoma here, even in the eco mode, pickup is pretty good. And it's an interesting sound. I've driven a few Tacomas before, but you're used to having either that 4-cylinder, or most of the Tacomas I've been in, the older ones had the bigger V6 in them. And it's just an interesting sound you get having a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in a pickup truck that sits pretty aggressively. It's not like a Maverick or something like that. This Tacoma is the off-road version, so it feels weird with this powertrain. Now, it doesn't drive bad or anything like that. It's just when you're sitting in something that's it almost feels like a lifted truck. Just having a turbo 4 is just an interesting setup. Now, coming down this rough patch of road, this is what really dictates how suspension is going to be. And this one here is a bit on the bouncy side, specifically with all the off-road oriented suspension parts. But I'm gonna put it into the normal drive mode now. Let's see if that changes anything. So yeah, the normal mode drives better. much better in city driving. Just coming out of a stop, getting a little acceleration going. Feels more normal there. But again, just with the off-road setup here, this is it's not uncomfortable, but it's a very lively experience. Let me put it that way. I'm feeling every bump I go over here. The funny thing is I just drove a Land Cruiser 1958 that had off-road tires, and it drove much smoother than this. Now I want to lean the seat back because I feel like I'm getting some of the headliner here. Hopefully that helps. But it's interesting how this truck is shaped. The hood doesn't necessarily slope down. It's lower than my field of vision, but I can still see it go straight out and then go down. So it's not like it's at an angle or anything like that. So an interesting choice for that. Again, not bothersome, but it does kind of hinder your visibility, especially for taller people, because the Tacoma is not made for, there's not a lot of space in here, let me put it that way. So if I raise my seat up some, my head will basically be in the ceiling. I'll be able to see better, but I'll just feel more cramped. And then being down here, I have more space to kind of move about, but I'm almost having to like look up and out over the steering wheel here. And it's not a bad thing. You can adjust it the way that you would want. It's just something I noticed. Now the overall driving experience itself, this truck is easy to get used to. I feel like the steering is less, this feels like a Tacoma, but it also feels more refined. So even with the steering, I'm used to a more almost boxy steering in the Tacomas, but this has that same feel, but it's almost a little less strained, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel as difficult to turn this thing, even though this is an off-road pickup truck. Now, fuel economy numbers are good because with a pickup truck, a lot of people, even in the older Tacomas, you had the smaller engine choices. Well, you had the smaller 4-cylinder, and then you had the bigger V6. The bigger V6 was relatively thirsty because it was a 4-liter, but the smaller 4-cylinder, just to get anything going in that thing, you had to floor it anyway, so it wasn't even worth it. And here you kind of have that sweet spot where you have the pickup of a V6 when you need it, but you get the fuel economy of a 4-cylinder. Now I'm not seeing a button for the auto stop, and that's interesting. So Toyota was one of the last manufacturers that I can remember actually implementing auto stop, them and Nissan. And the pickup truck here still doesn't seem to have that, but you're still getting pretty good fuel economy, which is impressive. Now you get a truck, or really any Toyota vehicle with iForce Max, and then having that auto brake hold kind of helps. Let's put it into sport mode. Here we go. So got up to speed very nicely. Very nicely. And now we're gonna test out the safety suite here. So we have the adaptive cruise, the lane centering, all of that working. And a great system in my opinion. And overall, I can hear the tires a bit, but the actual ride quality is, again, a tad bouncy, but very comfortable coming down this stretch of the interstate. I do want to give one more thanks to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Tacoma today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But if you're looking to find the best price on something closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But my final thoughts on this Tacoma, although it's mid-40s, when you look at it, it still has so much to offer with the adaptive cruise, the lane centering. The four-wheel drive system is phenomenal, just how adjustable that is. And then just having the LED headlamps, the LED tail lights. And just something that, even though it has a 4-cylinder, is pretty capable. Comparing it to the Colorado, the Ranger, even the Frontier, I mean, everyone has their own preferences. I think the only truck you can really get that doesn't have a turbo 4-cylinder in it now is the Frontier, which has that bigger 3.8 V6, which I really like. But for the most part, turbo 4-cylinders is just the way of the future for these small trucks especially, and probably for the bigger trucks after a while as well. But still, the power is great, and most of the time, for the majority of people, you're not going to be out here towing large boats and things of that nature, and you really want something that's more fuel efficient when you're not towing, but when you do need to tow, you have that capability. And I mean, it's quick. It is quick. But with all that being said, this is going to bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road.